this is game changing with ordinals as we see it, because suddenly you can get NFTs inscripted on Bitcoin. And from every way you look at it, very interesting. You have these two huge ecosystems, Bitcoin and Ethereum, finally can communicate with each other on a technical level, but also on a community level.
So, as you guys know, we have started working on our Layer 1 project we call X1. And just about a week ago, we got exposed to the ordinal theory, which was developed by a person who was one of the original Bitcoin core designers, core programmers. His name is Casey Rudamore. And what he has done is he developed a system which is just a protocol that allows anybody with a Taproot wallet to store data up to 4 megabytes per block, which is huge for Bitcoin miners because Bitcoin miners, they make their revenue in two ways. One way is that they mine the blocks and they get a reward. It's called a subsidy. They get 6.25 Bitcoin for every block they mine. Block is discovered every 10 minutes. But now, besides mining the blocks and validating transactions, they can also sell a portion of that block for data storage, specifically for what they call ordinals. Now, ordinals is a data storage allocation. It's 4 megabytes per block. And generally, you can store a lot of data in 4 megabytes. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are bidding to be included in the block. So what's great for miners, you can see in this chart, they're making pretty good amount of money just by selling portions of their blocks for the ordinal storage, which is pretty interesting. And overall cumulative fees in USD, you can see that just in February, they made an extra $1 million selling extra block space for ordinal storage. And again, ordinal is a protocol that allows you to store arbitrary data, which could be JPG, PDF, JSON files, could be XML, pretty much anything that you can imagine, could be even text. So this is very exciting for the Bitcoin blockchain because it has now finally, after 12 years of existence, it opened up to more use on its chain, which is obviously competition to Ethereum.
And what is the big innovation that comes out of it? As I understand now, it is the first time possible to put data on the blockchain, basically, to then now participate out of it. And what are you guys doing out of this concept that is now new to Bitcoin?
So the first thing that we decided to do is, as you guys know, we have Zen on 10 different chains. So immediately that came to mind for us is that why can't we put Zen on Bitcoin blockchain too and see if it can survive? So we hope it will. It's going to be a little bit different in a way that it's done because there's no contract support. You need to run full Bitcoin nodes and special software to inscribe data on Bitcoin blocks. But currently this week, what we're doing is we're working on a protocol that allows us to convert your Ethereum Zen to Bitcoin Zen. So if you have 100 million Ethereum Zen, you will be able to take it into a contract and then present your Taproot wallet that lives on the Bitcoin blockchain and receive your Zen on Bitcoin essentially on their chain, which is very, very special because think about it, guys. It's only been 2 weeks since this thing went live. So Zen being on a Bitcoin blockchain is very, very interesting to us. Huge implications. Obviously, you know that Bitcoin has been around for a while. They're probably the most secure network and they have a lot of users. And we're very excited to give Zen to the Bitcoin users.
I have some questions to that. So also hi from my side. I was a little silent in the background. I was making sure that the link gets shared in the background a little bit. And so, but what you are explaining is not like kind of a token on the Bitcoin blockchain, what I could like kind of trade on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it would be smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. And in order to qualify for it, you said you will need at least 100 million XEN. Would you like kind of burn into the contract in order to get your Bitcoin ordinal out of that? And then those ordinals would be traded where, or is it just like to
yes,
I have
so
such a thing, or
so there's two things. As you know, it's very difficult to move from one blockchain to the other because you need a bridge of a sort. What's most important is the identity. The identity on Ethereum is your Ethereum wallet, and the identity on the Bitcoin blockchain is your Taproot wallet. What we need to do first is we need to connect those two wallets together on the Ethereum smart contract. So on the Ethereum smart contract,
just one thing, those both wallets can have the same private key, right?
No, completely different.
Okay.
So your initial action is on Ethereum, and you need to have 100 million Zen to start, and you need to have some Ethereum fees to pay, obviously for gas, and then you specify the destination. Destination is your Taproot Bitcoin wallet. Now, it doesn't have to be yours. It could be your friend's. And you can say, I want my friend on Bitcoin to receive my Zen. And the smart contract will receive your Zen. It will receive your friend's or any third-party Bitcoin address. And our system will execute the transmission and encoding of the Ethereum Zen. It will lock it up on the Ethereum side and will create it on the Bitcoin side for you to receive it. Now, when it comes to trading, actually, there's a possibility to trade it right now. People are doing OTC trades on Discord servers. They can trade their ordinals for Satoshis. For example, CryptoPunks or ordinal punks are now available. People are trading them. Some people are burning in their apes, like Zensu. I think he burned some of his NFTs on the BTC. And if you have a demand to buy it, then you can do an OTC swap where you get the Satoshi, so you get your Bitcoin, and you will actually be able to do a trade like that. Now, I will tell you guys that what a lot of people do not know is that Bitcoin blockchain has a lot of layer 2 solutions. It has one solution called Stacks. It's executive layer that has its own language that settles all of the transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. So Bitcoin blockchain does not do execution, but Stacks is kind of like similar to Optimism in Arbitrum for Ethereum that does all the work, heavy lifting when it comes to logic. So there's many ways to do trades, and more people are getting excited developing decentralized marketplaces for Bitcoin because now they finally have more things to trade besides Bitcoin.
All right.
That sounds awesome. And I mean, the thing why I'm most excited about it is the exposure with which it brings Xen, and also that it's burning Xen, So like the more Xen gets burned, the better it should be, for the
Yes.
for the
So
process.
just to give you a little bit more details how Zen is used, it will be staked, which it actually does burn, but it's reversible burn. It allows you to receive your Zen back at the end of the maturity period, which is very, very similar to Hack Stake, because when you stake Hacks, it also gets burned, and then at the end you will receive it. So the way that it works with the Bitcoin transmission is that you will stake your Zen. It's going to get locked up in this what we call kind of like a liquidity pool, and you transfer this economic energy to Bitcoin, and you can sell your Zen on the Bitcoin network, maybe for more money potentially, if there's demand. And the new buyer on the Bitcoin chain would then convert back from Bitcoin back to Ethereum and retrieve the Zen that was staked originally. So it works.
Okay, so in
both
the
ways.
case of you bringing Xen to Bitcoin, you're essentially just bringing like part of the Ethereum Xen to the Bitcoin network.
Yes,
Am I getting that correctly?
It's like a mirror. It's a mirror. We're mirroring what you have had on Ethereum and transmitting the same amounts to the Bitcoin.
So kind of the same what Ethereum and Polygon is making in between each other. So like the Ethereum which are like locked in the bridge of the Polygon.
Yes,
contract.
it's very similar to USDC in any stable coin. For example, you can move USDC from Ethereum to Polygon and back, and one side locks it, the other side mints it, and you can go backwards too. So it's a very, very similar infrastructure. Now, the way that it works on the back end is that we need to run a cluster, which is many servers of Bitcoin nodes that will run inscription, because you cannot use one. And let me explain why you cannot use one. Bitcoin blocks are produced every 10 minutes. If you have a lot of demand and you have, let's say, 100 people inscribing at the same time, one node can only do one inscription at a time with the existing software. So you need to run a lot of virtual nodes and share the instance of the blockchain across virtual nodes to be able to sustain the load, because otherwise it's just not going to work. And obviously this is because Bitcoin blockchain has never been really designed for multi-user applications besides transactions, wallet to wallet. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. So we'll have to have a lot of virtual wallets that are sitting on virtual machines, inscribing data from many, many users that are coming from Ethereum. So that is where the technical challenge lies.
All right. So if the guys in the chat have any more questions to Ordinals, please feel free to ask them. My last question to that would be when you guys are thinking of starting, like when do you think that you have a bunch of nodes ready?
So we have one node running, and it's running pretty well. We found some bugs with the original software, and we actually were able to fix them. So we're helping the original team to be better. It's really easy to run many nodes, but what we need to design is the Ethereum side, because the Ethereum side will have most of its logic, because it allows for the smart contract to exist, and then have the virtual nodes talk to Ethereum across the RPC bridge, which could be Infura, Alchemy, or QuickNodes, and connected to our new software that's running full nodes on the Bitcoin side. We're essentially running software for both elements of this kind of like bridged blockchain. So it's very interesting and it's very exciting. Yeah, go ahead.
When we are talking about the smart contract on the Ethereum chain, this will be a real smart contract, so without admin keys. So at first you need to determine like all the functions and calculations the smart contract needs to do, and then audit, and then would be the start of it, or anything different.
So the good news is that it's the same smart contract staking function that we've been using for Zen, so nothing is changing there.
We could use the same staking NFT contract code,
Yeah,
which
so-
allows you to do.
So whatever exists on the chain today, we can reuse. We just add extra features, like for example, the destination Taproot wallet, and that's all that's needed. And the logic for unlocking and locking, staking and unstaking, burning and unburning is all the same, already been done within Zen. That immutable, nothing needs to be changed.
So this was our segment here about the ordinals, and people in the chat already have a couple of questions, but let me read this really quick here. Thank you, Crypto Profeta, 11 euros. Thank you so much. This will definitely go into the million push tour right away. Keep on doing what you're doing, KSB TV, and please ask Jack when Lambo.
When Lambo, well, do you think Lambo will be okay in the snow, Zensu?
I'm more of a Jeep.
Yeah, Urus, no?
More
The
function.
the Lambo Urus, no? That would be like a 4-wheel drive with
Urus,
big
Urus,
snow
but
tires.
that's for
Urus.
the old. It's for the old people, you know.
So
That's
we were talking about the ordinals, and Xhodl is saying that sounds like a bridge. Will there be admin keys for that?
When it comes to software design outside of smart contracts, of course you have access, because I mean, how else can you upgrade your software and make it better? But it goes beyond the aspect of the admin keys for your money. So your money is safe. It is still your money. Nothing's changing. We're using the contract. But the bridging function is the one that we need to continuously innovate with, because likely the first version is going to be barely working, and then the next version will be much better, and we need to innovate. It's not all done on the blockchain. A lot of it is done on the Linux server in the virtual cloud, like for example GCP or AWS. So it's a completely separate way to think about it. It has nothing to do with the economics, more like the execution.
And then the next question here from JZ Hexing. Jack, will each of the ordinals have the same Zen value fungibility?
So what's interesting, like with ordinal, the revolutionary thing is that ordinals are serial numbers. What you have to understand is when it comes to NFTs, an NFT needs to be attached to something on chain. So an NFT needs to have an owner, and it needs to be transferred, per definition. So for that, you need identifiers. This is what the ordinals are bringing to the table. Because ordinary can function as an identifier themselves. Bitcoin, doesn't have any stable identifiers native, because they are doing UTXO for balancing the ledgers, whereas Ethereum has the account. So the way it would work, like how do you set up these NFTs? Like what are the opportunities that you can make? They sort of can act as both an NFT on the Bitcoin side, but also sort of fungible token NFT on the Bitcoin side. So we're thinking how to construct this to get the optimal game theory to perhaps include both.
So one of the things that I want to add is that the first 10,000 ordinals from Zen are going to be limited and rare and interesting and special. So those are the collectibles. So up to 10,000, whoever gets them first, they're going to be early in the game. They get to keep them forever. Likely, regardless of how much Zen is inscribed on them, they'll have more value. It's like renting a very, very large, interesting villa. There's pools everywhere, and it's always summer, and jet skis are free, and party time all the time, right? So that's the first 10,000 ordinals. Now everything after 10,000 is the functional common ordinals. They can be used for trading. So the first 10,000 is for collecting, and the others are for trading. Like for example, you should be able to buy things on Bitcoin in Bitcoin ecosystem with the common ordinals. What we're trying to do is we're trying to introduce another type of currency on the Bitcoin blockchain, because you have your Satoshis, and now you will have your Zen in the form of ordinals that you can also trade with. So that is what we're excited about. And there's nothing wrong with using Satoshis. We want people to learn about blockchain. We want them to understand how to use Bitcoin wallets, how many Satoshis in one Bitcoin, get exposed to the stability of BTC price and value, and also do something interesting with it, like take your Satoshis, buy an ordinal, or take your ordinal and trade it for even more Satoshis. That sort of thing is we're very excited about. So first we're working on a bridge, and then we will be working on the execution layer that will start giving us ability to create DeFi apps on the Bitcoin blockchain.